today's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and your oasis of calm in the mad, mad world we seem to live in at the moment. Now today we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle on the screen, which is by Akash and it's from his brand new third World of Sudoku book, which I think is out today on Amazon. I'll put some links under this video in case any of you are interested. And one of the things I like about these books is not just that they're full of handcrafted Sudokus by Akash, and Akash is a wonderful setter, so they're full of very good puzzles, but they also have the suggested solving times in them. And the way that these have been generated is that Akash got the young genius Freddie Hand to solve all the puzzles and then provide his solving time. So you get to see how fast Freddie has solved these puzzles. I mean, Freddie is very young. I think he's still only 17. And I used to think of him as one of the UK's fastest solvers. I think it's undoubtedly true that Freddie is one of the world's fastest solvers. And the puzzle on screen took Freddie over 15 minutes, which tells us two things about it. One, this is a daunting puzzle because when you have the computational power that Freddie has at his disposal, a puzzle taking over 10 minutes is very, very rare. So to take over 15 minutes, that's daunting. It's also surprising because I've read the rules to this puzzle and the rules are really simple. So there's undoubtedly going to be a bit of a kick to this one, I think. You know, when you read the rules, you might think, it's a chance to beat Freddie Hand. I suspect it's not. But anyway, we'll get onto this in a moment. I've got some super exciting news. I mentioned it yesterday, but our new Killer Sudoku app is out. It's out on Apple, it's out on Android, it's out on Steam. And thank you so much to those of you who've taken the time to write reviews already. I know that they're a bit of a pain to do, but everyone who's rated the game seems to be enjoying it mightily, and that's incredibly gratifying for us. And to be honest, it's not surprising. This game is the one where we've included a lot of puzzles by other setters, but the setters we chose to include are the world's great setters of Killer Sudoku. And some of the puzzles in this collection are, well, they're all excellent, but some of them are, beyond belief. Frankly, they are beyond belief. So if you've ever enjoyed a Killer Sudoku, do have a look at the app. And if any of you have the time to write a nice review, we would, of course, be really appreciative of that. Other than that, what's going on? Well, on Patreon, of course, we've still got the Tracking the Cryptid Sudoku puzzle hunt going on. If you've not looked at that, you really should. That is another wonderful collection of puzzles, this time by Stefan Bura and Akash Jain. Now, some of you are still going on this, and we've got more correct solutions, so I like to read out the names. Brendan Spreeder, maybe Spreader, but Brendan, well done. Jacko Drager, I think that's right. Forgive me if it's not. Simon Vetter. Matt Siegfried. Now, Matt Siegfried is an interesting name because I think Matt is a very serious successful competitive gamer. I may be wrong about this, but I think he is. I think he used to be sort of #1 ranked at various games. And if that's true, then Matt, please do drop me an email to explain why I can't aim properly at Overwatch. I'm sure it's nothing to do with my coordination. It's entirely the game's fault, and all I need is the secret. Please let me know. Now, what are the rules of Akash's puzzle? What we have got today is normal Sudoku rules apply, and the lines in the grid form palindromes. Now, if you're not familiar with a palindrome, basically it means the line has to read the same forwards and backwards. So if this was a 1 and this was a 4, this would also have to be a 1, so that this would read 1, 4, 1 forwards and 1, 4, 1 backwards, i.e. it would read the same. So normally palindrome Sudoku contains longer lines. Here we just have 8 very short lines, which in effect are just telling us that those 2 digits are the same, these 2 digits are the same, etc. So it's a very, very beautiful looking puzzle. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to trying it. Now, you get to play as well, of course. The way to do that is to click the link under the video. Now, with that, let's get cracking and think about how we might solve this. Now, I'm not sure whether we start with the palindrome lines or we start with the... Well, actually, I can write that square into the grid straight away. How can I do that? Well, the two fives I'd noticed in the grid rule out those squares. And look, those 2 squares well, if either of these were 5, you'd have to put a 5 in either there or there, where these 5s would clash. So there is a 5 in the middle of the grid immediately, which is a nice start. Now, can we take that further? The answer to that is, I don't know. 5. It is quite interesting because the 5s, these two 5s rule 5 out from every end of the palindrome cell, which means those squares and these squares cannot be the digit 5. So that can't be 5. I'm sure this is not the way to do this, by the way. I suspect the way to do this is to fill in all the options at the end of the palindrome, but let me just give this a moment or two more. So what I'm particularly thinking about is column 3 and column 7 and where 5s can go. So have we got an X-wing here? I think we do. I think 5 is locked into just those cells. Oh, in fact, we have got an X-wing, but it's resolved by this 5. So where does 5 go in column 3? It can't go in those two squares because of the 5 I didn't see in the corner. It can't go here. It can't go at the ends of palindromes. It can't go there, so it just goes there. There's a 5 here. That locks 5s into those two squares at the top. And now, where does 5 go in this column? Presumably, I've got exactly the same constraint going on, and I do. So 5 goes here. Now, that must be useful. How is it useful? 5 now is in one of those two squares precisely. Still don't think we know. I think 5's got 3 options in box 6. I think I'm just going to do a little bit of pencil marking now, if that's okay. Let's have a quick look and see if we can make any progress. It's actually interesting. The actual ability to do Sudoku here is not huge. Although there is a 4. Look at where 4 can go in box 3. Sudoku removes those squares, but this can't be a 4, because if it was, that would be a 4 and it would clash. So 4 is definitely in one of 2 places in box 2 there. 4's in one of 3 places. I keep having to check both ends of the palindromes, which is rather cool actually. 4's got to be in one of those 2 squares. Maybe we've got more X-wing shenanigans going on. No, we don't. That's complete nonsense. But 4 does have to be in one of those 2 squares. Okay. Have we got anything going on with 9s? No, I don't think I can. I think one of those 3 squares has to be a 9, but I don't think I can rule 9 out of this square because I can't rule 9 out of that square. 2's got to be in one of those 2 squares, just using the 2 2s in the grid. Three's got to be in... 3 is a little bit restricted again in box 1. Where does 3 go? Now it can't go here because that would plonk a 3 at the other end of the palindrome. So 3 can't go in any of those squares and must be in one of these 2 cells, which means 3... which gives us a 3 in column 3 now, because 3 can't go here either, because that would bounce back there and hit that 3. So there's a 3 there. So 3 is now in one of these 2 squares by Sudoku. What a great puzzle. 3 can't be here, because then it would bounce back there and hit the 3 there. So 3's in one of those 2 squares. I'm just going to check row 5 of the grid. I need 1, 4, 6 and 9. So that's got lots of options. 1, 4 or 9. That's 1, 4 or 6. That one's 1, 6 or 9. And that one is 1, 6 or 9 as well. I'm not seeing anything there. Right, what I'm tempted to do with the palindromes actually now is to colour them in. So I want to try and record the fact that these two are the same. So let's do some highlighting. Let's just highlight these in different colours. I'll use blue for that one so that I'm going to run out of colours though, so I might have to repeat some of them. But the point I want to get in my brain is that these digits are... Maybe I could use grey. Yeah, I can. That's great. It's my new software coming to the fore. I use green there so that those greens aren't really connected. So let us take a look at this. Now, what is this telling us about the grid? So the first thing it's telling me is that 4 and 5 can't go in any of those cells, which means 4 can't be there either. So 4 is locked into one of too many positions, I think. Five also has 3 options. Okay, that's surprising. But let's check this one at the top. 9 and 5. So again, no, the 5s aren't good, but the 9s might be better. So 9 can't go here, 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 or here, or here. So 9 is in one of 4 positions. No, that's no good. Okay. Now, so what... So what we might have to do, what I'm resisted doing so far, is to fill in the options for every palindromic cell and see if we can get some sort of restriction built off the back of that. I mean, there are interesting things here. If you look at these cells here, the grey one, the green one, the orange one and the blue one, those cells all see those 2 cells. Ah, that is a little bit interesting. That is a little bit interesting. So these 2 cells see... Oh, this is beautiful, actually. This is beautiful, isn't it? I was just trying to think about what that meant, but I've now suddenly realised what it means. It means because these 2 cells see grey, green, orange and blue, the critical point there is that the grey repeats in this square. So whatever appears in these 2 cells can't appear in a coloured cell in column 7 of the grid. So these 2 cells have to appear in white cells, which means they have to be... Yeah, oh, that's lovely. So they can't, when I say white cells, they obviously can't be that cell either, because this cell is in the same box. So neither of these squares can be this cell, and they can't be coloured cells. So they have to be from 4, whatever goes in that square, whatever goes 5 and 8. And they can't be 8. They could be 5. And they could be whatever goes in this square. So I'm going to look at this square now. Oh, this square's a bit annoying, look. This square can be 1, 2, 3. It's got too many options. That's so frustrating. 6, 7 or 9, I think. Whoopsie, not 0, 9. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 or 9. So that unfortunately explodes the options for these squares. Ah. That's, well, okay. That was a lovely idea, but it's not working. Although it might work on the other side of the grid, because presumably the logic is the same. It's going to be for those two squares. Yeah, oh, this is better. This is better because we've already got... Yeah, look at these two squares. I don't think I need to highlight them more than I've highlighted them already. These two squares cannot be pink, green, red or blue, which means where do they go in column 3 of the grid? They can't go in the coloured cells. So these two squares have to be selected from from either, well, 2 of those 4 squares have to go in this domino, but these 2 squares can't be 2 and 3 because there's already a 2 and a 3 in the column. So these are 5 and 6, and we know that that can't be 5. So I think this is 6, this is 5, and we are off and running. I love that, by the way. That is absolutely beautiful setting, because it makes such a gorgeous use of this, of the palindrome lines. You know, the fact that these 2 cells see all 4 of the colours, which affects the column. It's a simple but beautiful idea. I mean, well done to Akash for coming up with that. That is simply lovely. Well, what does it mean? It means there's a 6 in one of these cells. Means... Good grief. I mean, is that all it means? It means that's not 5. Okay, well, this is a disaster. I thought this would pave the way for a finish with alacrity, but it's not done anything of the sort. It's done nothing. Oh no. Has it limited 6 anywhere? So 6 in this column maybe? Yeah, it's a bit interesting regarding 6 because 6 can't be in any coloured cell in this column because this 6 sees all the colours apart from... Actually, it doesn't see grey, does it? Oh. So, hang on. So 6 can't go here because that would put a 6 there. It can't go here, that's just going to clash with a 6. It can go here because that can be a 6. It can't go there. Ah, it can't go here because that would put a 6 there. So 6 in this box is restricted. It can't go in any of those cells. So 6 is in one of these 3 squares, which means 6 is in one of those 3 squares. Wow, okay. So, what does this mean? The answer is I don't know. 6... no, I do know. I don't know. I know more about 6s. I know more about 6s. 6 is in one of those 3 squares in row 5 of the grid. These 3 squares... These 3 squares see both greys, don't they? So if I put 6 in any of those squares, and I must put 6 in one of those squares, it eliminates 6 from the greys. So that's not 6. Let me just double check that. If I put 6 here, Yeah, it eliminates 6 from all of those positions. Yeah, that's not 6. This is 3, 6. As a pair now. Now that means... don't know. Don't know what it means. Nothing. It means nothing. But maybe this column again. So this column can't have a 6 here. It can have a 6 here. I think it can have a 6 there. I can't see why not. Maybe it can't, but I can't see why not. It can't have a 6 there because of the 6 there. It can't have a 6 here because we've just looked at that. It can have a 6 here. Here would be impossible because that would reflect on the red. Here's impossible because that would be a 6. So 6 is locked into one of those two positions in column 5, and that is useless. Bobbins. Goodness me. Okay. I think Freddie's finished by now as well. Although Freddie wasn't talking through his solve, so Freddie had it easy. So, what do we know about anything here? The answer is I don't know. I quite like what I did there, though, with the 6s. We do that with 4s. 4s. So if this is a 4, that's going to knock 4 out of that square. If this is a 4, that knocks a 4 out of that square, doesn't it? So hang on a minute. Does that matter? So if there's a 4 in one of these squares, either this is a 4, in which case that purple is not 4, so neither's that, or this is a 4, so that purple. Yeah, so there is no 4 in purple, actually, so that's not 4. 4 is... oh, for goodness sake, this doesn't do anything. This is going to be so embarrassing as well when I finally get to like list the possibilities in the grid and I find that actually there's a naked single or something. Well, you'll get to laugh at me. That's what's going to happen. 4. No, actually 4 is 4. No. I have a plan. 4 is now locked into column. Where does 4 go in column 5? It can go here. It can't go there for the reasons we just discussed. And it can't go here because it would clash. And it can't go in any of those squares because there's a 4. So now, eliminating 4 from the purple gives me a 4. Now, let's see if that takes us forward. Oh. No, that takes us forward with the 6, though, because that was one of the positions the 6 could go in the column. So let me just double check this. Where does 6 now go? Yeah, so 6 now only goes here in the column. That nearly restricts where 9 can go. Not quite, though. 6 is not in any of those squares. Now, so this column I think is where we need to pay attention to. We need 1, 2, 7, 8 and 9. So actually I am going to highlight these squares now. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. Now you can see why this is going to get horrible because there's so many options for these. So this square is 1, 2, 7, 8 or 9. This is not 7 or 8. So this is, whoopsie, why didn't that disappear? That's not 7 or 8, so that didn't. That's not 9, so that's not 9. So this becomes a 1, 2. This square can't be 9 because of the 9 here. So this is 1, 2, 7 or 8. It can't be 2. Why is it not deleting that? That's not 2. This one mirrors onto that one, which can't be 8 or 9. So that's not 8 or 9. 1, 2, or 7. Again, I'm not seeing anything. This one bounces over here where it can't be a 2. So that's 1, 7, 8, or 9. So this is not actually proving... Oh, no, it's not proving helpful. Oh, although it does mean there's no 9 in those 3 squares. Ah, we get a 9 then. Look at this column. Where does 9 go? Well, it's not in those 3. So it must be in one of... Ah, in fact, it's there. It's the only place it can go in the column. So that has been useful. That must be 9. That's not 9. This is 9 now in the red. That's not 9 anymore. I've seen something it does. It gives me an 8 in column 5, but let me just continue on with 9s for a second and see if we can do any better. This being a 3, 6 means that's a 3, 6, of course. I forgot that. Don't think it does anything. I can't see what else to do, so I'm going to look at the fact that I know where 8 now goes in column 5, because this 8 rules it out of that square, so this becomes an 8, that becomes an 8. That looks like it might... That's actually, this is beautiful. This 8, where does 8 now go in box 4? 8 can't go in this cell, because it would reflect into the blue and hit that 8. So 8 goes there. 8 must be... There's a 2, 8 pair now in this box down here, which we can resolve using this 8 there. This 8 must mean there's an 8 in one of those 2 squares, which means this is not 8 anymore. So this one's 2, this one's 8. 2 now goes onto the bottom row, which is lovely. That means that this grey has to be 2 by Sudoku, and suddenly we're getting traction. This 2 I can see is going to give me the 1 here, which is also on a palindrome. That removes 1 from that square, 1 from this square. And all of a sudden, the puzzle is starting. It's just beginning to yield a little bit. We need... What do we need in there? 1, 4, and 7. So this is a 4... Ah, look, yeah, look at this. Oh, no, it's not good. I thought it was good, but it's not quite good. 4 or 7 into this square. 1 or 7 into this square, which reflects up here, 1 or 7, which doesn't resolve anything. That's a 4 or a 7, which doesn't resolve anything. Let's just finish off this column, actually. Let's take the easy win. That's a 7. That locks a 7 in here by Sudoku. So 7 is in one of 2 places in box 7 there. These 2 squares are now known. They are a 1, 4 pair, but we don't know... Well, that's nice, actually. The 4, this can't be 4. So where does 4 go? In box 6 now. It can't go there because it will reflect here. So the 4 goes here. Once the 4 goes there, that must be 5. That means that's a 5. 1 must be here by Sudoku. Let's keep this going now. Immediately it ends. But now I think is the time to look at the blue. So we've got 2, 3, and 6 into this square, and it can't be 6. So this has to be 2 or 3, and there's a 2 here. So this has to in fact be 3. That fixes the 6. That fixes the 9. This square should be a 2. That means that square's a 2. That means that's not 2. In fact, this is just it right in now. Let's work it out. What is it? 7, I think. So 7 must be in one of these 2 cells. 7 is in one of those 2 cells. Now, there's a lot of pencil marking here. Is this a 4, 7 pair then? That's what it seems to be indicating. So this square can be deleted, replaced with a 4, 7. This square now is known. What is it? That's a 6. That means that's a 3. Well, actually, that's 6 meant that was a 3. These two squares are 8 and 9, which we don't know the order of. I'm not sure, but it does feel like we're getting there, aren't we? So 1, 3 and 7 into these squares. This is now a 1, 7 pair. So if that's a 1, 7 pair, this should be a 4, 9 pair, which is resolved. 9 and 4 go in, 4 and 1 go in. So this is now a 2, 3 pair. Again, that doesn't seem to be resolved. And this should be a 1, 8 pair, which again is not resolved. Arch bobbins. How does this all get resolved? So we need to put 9 into one of those. So this is 4, 7 and 9. So this is 7 or 9. This is 4 or... that's 4 or 7. So there's a naked single there, 9. Let's have a look at... Where should we have a look? Should we have a look at... Still need to put 9 into one of those squares. I'm not seeing that. There must be... I think I missed something here. This feels like it's... Is it 5, 3? It feels like it should be solved, doesn't it? It's the 4 here, maybe. That would give me a 7 there. That just gives me a 4. That might be it. Look, 1, 7. That gives me a 7. That gives me a 1. That gives me a 1 at the top of the grid. That makes that 9. Fixes the 9 and the 8. This is now a 7, 8 pair. So this should be a 2, 6 pair, which is probably resolved by something that I can't see. But that makes that square a 6, and that makes that square a 3. And all of the palindromic numbers are now done. This 4 is fixing the 7 here, and I suspect that's going to go all round the grid. 7, 8, 8, 1. 1 must go here, 6 goes here, 4 goes here, 3 goes here, the 3 and the 2 and the 6. We click check, and that is how to solve a beautiful puzzle by Akash Dulani. That is really, really stunning setting, because the way that these short palindromes has been used, it's a very original idea. I absolutely loved these dominoes. I presume that is how you're meant to solve it. Akash, please do comment if you watch the video and let us know. Or maybe there was something easier. In fact, maybe there was something easier, because when I started pencil marking, especially that palindrome in, it didn't have many options. But anyway, that's how I solved it. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.